Today we're going to change the bandsaw blade out on this little Delta bandsaw. This is an oldie but goodie, they work fine. So if you're, you know, one of those guys that has a small little workshop, this is maybe what you have. So we're going to change the blade out on it. Now the blade on this one here is just wore out. You can run your finger along and it doesn't catch anymore, it's wore out. Now when you're buying blades, buy a quality blade. This one here is so much thicker than this, and it just may end up lasting a little bit longer. You know, it doesn't cost, it only costs you a couple more bucks, but buy brand name, buy a good blade. Okay, so this blade is out, took it out, and I blew out the blew out everything. And the first thing you want to do is we've got to find my Allen wrench here. Oh, it's over here. First thing we want to do is we want to, if your bandsaw hasn't been maintained for a long time, or you've never done it, just make sure all the blocks are moved out of place. So then when we put the bandsaw blade in, it's going to run freely. Take the opportunity, we've got a couple bearings here. The blade's not in there, so it makes it a little easier. A little bit of penetrating oil. Make sure everything's spinning good. Maybe we want to release our drive wheel here. Actually, this is the drive wheel down here. And you want to inspect your, call this a boot up here. You want to inspect that. Make sure that there's no crud buildup on there. If there is, you just take a scraper and just scrape any of the crud off of it. You want those nice and clean. The bottom looks pretty good too. Right. Okay, our wheels are good. I'm just going to take this guard off here. Now this may seem stupid, but sometimes when you get these, they're all wrapped up, and make sure teeth are going the right way. I actually did some maintenance on a bandsaw one day, and I come in and they said it wasn't cut very good. Changed the blade. Well, the blade was upside down. Got the blade in. Let's make sure that nothing is impeding it at all, so that it rotates nice. Put the tension back on this one. This one's got a preset tension on it, so and what you're hearing is we got a little brush down here. All right, I'm gonna zoom in over here. Next thing we need to check here, you got to make sure that this blade is running on the middle of this rubber boot here, and there's a knob on the back. So if your blade is too far back, so if you screw the knob in, the blade will go back. Screw the knob that way, it goes forward. So all we're going to do, I'll show you here, you watch it move. So let's say our blade's way out there, we want to make sure that it's in the middle of your boot. Very important. So we got nothing impeding this blade. So now it's time to set up the blocks. Now you got to make sure that the edge of the blocks are behind the kerf of the teeth. Your teeth kind of do one of these. Make sure they're behind the teeth. This one's set up okie dokie. And you just want a tiny, tiny bit of space in between your block and your blade. Typically, thickness of a piece of paper or so. But we don't want to push the blade over or anything like that. You want it to run where it wants to run. What we can do is, I'm going to tighten the tension up just a little bit on this guy. I think he was a little loose. I'm just turning this knob on this one here. Even though it's a spring, I just turned that clockwise to tighten it up just a little bit more. Seemed like the blade was a little loose. On some of these, they've got a little gauge on there that tells you where you're at, but you just got to kind of feel with the stiffness of your blade here. Okay. Now we'll just set our blocks up. This bearing at the back, you want it just to be behind the blade. So just adjust it a little bit. It's a little out. Just bring that out. See, it's got a screwdriver on there, and I don't have a screwdriver with me. I'll be right back. Okay, got the screwdriver now. Kind of on a bit of an eccentric. So the screwdriver didn't move it in and out, it was just tight. But the screwdriver, if you watch it, moves the bearing one way or the other. So you want your bearing to be catching right about there so that it spins when the blade hits it. Tighten that up. I'll set the bottom. Okay, our blocks and our back bearing is all been set. Put the guard back on. Give her a spin. Feels good. Done deal. And that's all there is, changing out a little blade. Things are starting to get a little wore out on these things. Starting to break out over here. But it's cut a lot of wood, so it doesn't owe us anything. There you have it. Now I'm going to show you how to discard your blade. Okay, I'm going to show you how to discard this blade. Now you can just fold it up, throw it in the garbage, but that's not very much fun. So what you do is you just fold it over, and then you got her into your threes, like that. Gonna do one more time for you. Hold your thumbs, fingers like that. You're rotating this part of the blade underneath, and then all you're doing is pulling in like this. Now if you have to, slow-mo that. But that's how you roll up a blade. Okay, we're done. Blade's changed. You can go to work now.